welcome back to my channel. This is Becky, and in this episode I wanted to go ahead and talk a little bit about narcissistic empath dynamics, and this is a really intense topic for me because, and I've been studying this a long time because I grew up around narcissists, and I'm a very empathetic, and that's the whole, I'm an ascended master in training throughout this incarnation, and I finally reaching a level of understanding to a lot of the errors and the, they're not errors, I mean, that's life, right? The lessons that I've learned over all these years, and I've helped people as I go. But then when I learn that, that I just taught somebody the wrong thing, then I try to go back and be like, oh, remember when I said this? Well, I found out now in this situation that might not work. So I have people that'll be like, oh, she's inconsistent, or oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. You know, they just try to like deflect, right? But life is lessons and learning and growth. And so what I do is believe me, I went through years of just fight or flight, and we got a mission, we're gonna do this no matter what. Okay, everybody's coming at you, and then you feel the pressure cooker. And now I'm at a different stage because now I'm like unpacking all the spiritual stuff that I've been like bulldozing through this whole time. And then as I'm like learning, I'm like, oh, okay, most people are living completely in that bulldozer reality, but they don't do what I do, and that is they don't sit back and reflect and cry and like process the emotions privately, and then go back out into society and use stoicism. They don't do the duality the way that I do it. So then I do look crazy. So then I can be like, oh, well, that's why they acted that way towards me. I did come in really short, snippy, and like, you know, I'm sorry, Dad, but if you don't take your insulin, you're gonna lose a leg. Like, there's nothing else I can do about this. You don't take the insulin, you don't do what the doctors say, you don't eat right. I can't force it, so I'm sorry if me getting rough in my language to try to emphasize how hard I'm trying to passionately say you have to take care of yourself. So yeah, I can see then from a wounded masculine who is supposed to be an authority figure protecting and providing, to then have their child chastising them and ridiculing them from their perspective, when that was not the intent. It was just to express the seriousness that you will lose the leg. Like, they've already done skin grafts, and you know. And so when I get into these life or death situations, do I become passionate? Absolutely, because I care. If I didn't care, I'd be like, not my problem. But that's not it. And when people that are surrounding my dad have punched me in the head for no reason, I can't go and help him. And the people that are supposed to be, you know, helping me are stealing my money, then I can't even get help to my dad. So situations, and the reason why I'm sharing that story isn't for like sympathy or anything. It's to teach, okay? It's the lesson. It's the coach's blueprint of what I've experienced and how that can then turn around and help you, okay? Because the lessons that we have are similar. They really are. They just happen at different stages of life for different people and in different orders with different vessels that are delivering the lesson. So when we talk about narcissists and we talk about empaths, I'm very, very cautious, because in somebody's storylines, they say I'm a narcissist. In other people's storylines, they say I'm an empath. And the reality is we live in a world of duality. We're both. Everybody is both. So what comes out of you in that situation is just perceptions. It's just projections from the people around. Now, I used to get very upset and want to defend myself when people would try to attach all these projections onto me when they never even had a conversation. I mean, honestly, I've had people who've gone against me to try to plot for my murder who has never even had a conversation. They never even said hello to me. They believed rumors and lies that other people were using to try to manipulate to make themselves look like victims so that they could say that I was hurting them in some way, that I was a witch doing black magic. And it's like, no, honey, I keep telling you. I keep giving you the videos. I keep sharing the documents. I give you the books. If you just set those aside and go, I'm not looking at that. I'm not going to learn that. Well, then you're choosing ignorance. And that's not my fault. Because you have a protective bubble around you at all times. You have your auric field. That is your shield. Okay? And we unknowingly poke in holes in our own defense, and then crap can seep into our lives. But if you don't poke holes in your own defense mechanisms that God's given you at birth, like you're born into a human, you have this protective bubble, but society doesn't want you to know that, right? So they want you to self-sabotage out of ignorance, which is why I have spent the first 49 years having to learn these lessons. And now I've hit the grandma stage of life, the wisdom, the crone, and now I'm like Maya Angelou, right? You do better once you know better. And that's why I always tell people, even when I give advice when I'm out in the world and I just am randomly giving a message to somebody, I'll say, listen, just because this worked for me doesn't mean it'll be working for you. So keep that in mind, because I have a lot of copycats. I've had copycats since I was a toddler, and I just couldn't get them to stop. It would be like playing follow the leader when I didn't want anybody following me, and I'd be like, knock it off, stop it. And they would intentionally trigger those responses to get a violent episode out of me. Well, I've grown up thinking that I was causing all this. Like I was an angry person who was doing this. And they made me believe I was the narcissist for wanting better for myself than what I was born into. And I just was always given the vision that I was going to be like Joseph and just get risen up by going through different trials and tribulations, proving my gifts, proving who I am, proving God's chosen this vessel, and that I am trying my best to do his work as his hands and his feet. And I used to say, and I am not his mouth or his brain. I am just his hands and feet. And unfortunately, God said, oh no, honey, I'm moving you up in the ranks. You're no longer just my hands and feet. Now I need you to be my voice. And I need you to really tap into your brain, okay? Because you've been allowing other people to play in your face and convince you that you're confused and you don't know who you are and you don't know what's going on. And then you sit there and you go, oh, they're trying to kill me. And then you can start defending yourself proactively. And that's what I want to teach you. If you would like a free consultation, just reach out, homans.consulting@gmail.com. So we can talk about your situation, how I can help. Because I'm a strategist, and I know I'm talking fast, so I'm sorry. I'm trying to learn to slow down my energy when I do speak. I get the messages and I want to get it out. And so thank you for your patience. But what I want to do is I want to help you be able to strategize in your life what it is that you need to accomplish your mission, whatever your mission is. My mission is to prevent suicide, to prevent spousal abuse, and to prevent child abuse, and protect the earth. I'm supposed to be helping with the water is my main my main thing. Once the money starts really flowing to me and the people who are blocking it don't have that control anymore and it gets my hands, I'm supposed to be helping purify and clean up the waters too. I know that there's Garbage Island that my mother wanted to, kind of take funds and donate it to. And I told her that I would do that in her honor, that once I got the business going and I decided I want to turn it into that nonprofit. So then that way it truly is God's money. It is not my money. I am a vessel that the blessings flow through. And I've done that my whole life in the 3D realm, and just, that's just how I've lived. Now God's saying, okay, take that model. You created your blueprint. It's the 7 steps to getting on the same page blueprint. You created a 90-day complete family resolution mentorship program. And I do offer other packages. If you need me more than 90 days, we can recoup for another 90 days. And I'm working on a 1-year curriculum for people who do have more intense things that they're going to need my my guidance. I'm like the general of the army unit, and you're the lieutenant or whatever, and you're going to bring your plan for what's going on in your ranks to me and say, all right, this is what's going on in my troop over here. Do you think this is a good way to handle it? These are all the options I got. This is it. Like, this is what I've strategized, and what do you think? And then I give you advice on, okay, Spirit's telling me in this moment, da 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 da. But keep in mind that everything can change, because it's a butterfly effect. If one person makes a different decision, then that throws off energy, and then you got to come back and we got to re-strategize, right? So some people need me a lot longer because their situation is a lot more complicated. Like with me, it's taken me 49 years to get away from my family to fully individuate. Even though I've been trying and trying and trying, they keep latching on and latching on. I keep cord cutting. They latch on and cord cut and latch on and cord cut for 49 years. And God's like, this is the last time we have to cut these cords, because your mission is so much more than just your karmic family. It's so much more than just your children. Because believe me, I would love to be the little country grandma who's just sitting here baking cookies with my grandkids. Believe me, I cried over having to take on this public speaking role that was trying to be stolen from me. But besides the point, I didn't want this part of being a leader. I really don't. But it is a necessary part. And the reason why I don't is because I know what I'm saying is controversial. I know that I have the religious folks that want to see me dead, and I have the mobsters that not, you know what I mean? Like the unethical people in the world, which is, we have unethical people in the religion world too. So for me, I walk in the middle. I'm kind of like trying to hold hands with the religious people and the spiritual people and say, listen, we need to sing Kumbaya, because if you guys haven't noticed, like, this is a shit show, and we're not supposed to be fighting against each other. We're like supposed to be fighting the devil. But the devil seems to be like run rampant, and we need more people that are out here taking the holy war more seriously. And the only way to do that is to truly step into my full divinity. And that means that I do have to be more stern with people. If I know that they're doing shady shit behind the scenes, then yeah, I'm cutting you off, and you don't get a second chance, because I've already given you too many chances, you know? And then that makes me look mean. And it's like, no, it's self-preservation, because you're sinking my ship. You are the mice that are eating holes in the ship. You got to go. And believe me, I've been the mouse on other people's ship because I couldn't, survive because of family trying to kill me. And this isn't me like going, oh, showboating, although my ancestors say I need to be more braggy. But more importantly, it's about, if I can strategize time after time after time after time for 49 years of how to escape my own death, like Final Destination, only I can see it coming, and then I sidestep it and go, nah, that karma's going to the person it belongs to. Nope, that karma's going to the person it belongs to. Nope, that's karma's going to the person it belongs to. And the whole time, I'm just like ducking and weaving. But I also then have to survive in the 3D world when my family has stolen all my money, and then I had to go and work. So that's why I partnered with the systems. I was like, you know what? I don't want to be associated with any of the criminal activities that are hidden in the unseen. We're talking serial killers that can do it without any blueprint in the 3D. They can kill people from the astral using other vessels. I've watched it since I was a child. So if you are in that kind of scenario, or you resonate with that, and you're like, what the heck am I going to do? You might want to talk to me, because I might be able to help you. So the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and end this, because obviously I got too much energy going for me to be able to keep going, and you're probably having to slow this down and listen to it a couple times. I have been doing a lot of research online of different ways to help people understand narcissism and empathy and those sort of dynamics, psychopaths, sociopaths. How to identify these in the 3D when they look like your pastor, when they look like your business coach, when they look like a boss, right? Like, we have to be able to see the demons and clock them and watch them and know how they're moving so we know how to counter move. Okay? And so, if you need that kind of coach, you need that kind of mentorship, definitely reach out. The other programs that I've got started now is called the Starseed Launch Program. Because like I said, I was supposed to be I'm still trying to figure out my true biological lineage because I don't have all the facts yet. I got investigators that are working on it, and the law enforcement are working on it for me, and then they're gonna brief me in on what they found on their end. But if you're questioning that you even belong in that family, like follow that gut instinct, because you might have been kidnapped, or you might have been somebody else's baby daddy or baby mama and you didn't know it your whole life. So, or swapped at birth, or you know what I mean. Crazy stuff happens in this world, and it can throw you for a loop. So, like I said, my goal is most people don't survive their spiritual awakenings, and a lot of people bank on them. They kind of set them up like dominoes, and then when they end up unaliving themselves or unaliving somebody else and then ended up incarcerated, if you're spiritually gifted, you can look at all the moves that have been made that led up to that unaliving. You can look at the clues that led up to that murder, homicide, whatever. So, like I said, I have a lot of military background, a lot of work with law enforcement. So people are like, oh, she comes across so stern and strict. Yeah, because I'm dealing with life or death. And my law enforcement people deal with that every minute of every day. And they understand the effects that that kind of stress has on them. And especially then the women, right? Because men have the ability to have a more closed off heart space. The hard part is when they completely solidify it and block it completely. That's a problem, and I've ran into plenty of those. It's the ones though that understand, keep the tender heart, but you got to keep it guarded. It's kind of like a dragon, right? The dragon keeps its heart guarded, right? And so you can't get to the dragon's heart. And that's how my law enforcement people, the ones that are protecting, because I do have the crooked ones that my family have paid off and documents have been all, whatever. It's amazing what you can do when you got connections and money. But the law enforcement who are on God's side, who are spiritually gifted, who do look at the paper trails, because that's the other thing, ladies, document every little incident, whether you think it's significant or not. If your gut is telling you this could become a problem, then it could become a problem. I kept saying that my now ex-husband was going to kill me, and people, oh, you're crazy, you're just overreacting, you're stressed, you have a baby, it's just hormones. I mean, they were gaslighting me for 10 years, and he literally was going to kill me. So don't even let your parents or anybody convince you that your body signals of danger are wrong. Okay? And again, I'm coming across very passionately because this is life or death for the people who resonate with my story. Okay? When you are put in life or death situation, you're going to come out fighting. You're going to come out clawing, because when it comes to it, the human is designed to survive at any cost. So if you place the sweetest, kindest, noblest woman in a situation where she's got to fight for her life, you're going to see a totally different version of that woman. Just like they say, like when when a woman, like when their child is, let's say, gets injured and trapped under a car, and that woman hears her child crying out in pain, she gets a superhero surge of adrenaline that she can literally lift that car up. Now, maybe that's just my bloodline. I don't know. Because we do have super strength and other gifts in my bloodline. So I am very cautious about my gifts. And first of all, my family tried binding them, which you can't do. You can temporarily do it by manipulation and a lot of things, but a true divine being, the spirits, the ancestors, source, God, when you're fully connected to all, they lose all control, because there's a force, like I said, that invisible auric field, where that force is fully activated when your core chakras are all lit up and you really do the work, then no weapon formed against you shall prosper. It may look like it's going to prosper, and heck, it may look like it's going to prosper for 49 years. I mean, my family really thought they had me, that either I would commit suicide by now, or that I would, oh, sorry, I don't know if I can say that word, or that they had me in some sort of subservient role where they were just going to control my life forever. And they never had control over my life. That's the thing. So people can be very delusional in their thinking. They think that they are God. They think they are the Hierophant. And it's like, no, honey, you're an empty vessel. God chooses who he works through, but so does the devil. And so if you want more help with being able to differentiate and discern these things, stay tuned to my channel, because I have this nifty little book that I've been scribbling away and doing all these research as storms are blowing over. I'm like the turtle that's in its shell, just kind of creating and healing, and once the storm clouds are over and it's safe, then I'll pop out of my shell and I'll keep going, and then we'll even rock and roll even more. But for right now, I've been researching different people that are prominent out in there now, like Joe Dispenza, and like other people that are out there, like Greg Braden and others that are trying to get the same information out there, but just in different ways. So I have been kind of going through different key people that are out there speaking already and following their social media, so that way I can gather even more intel from other people that are tapped in and tuned in, since the people around me really aren't. That then I have put together is this journal of different scenarios, different psychological type things. So I will continue to make more videos, and I will be reading some of the things that I have been finding throughout my research, which will be helpful information for you that are still out in the field, that don't have necessarily a strong sense of faith, and you're still kind of living more in a fear mode, or, you know, trying to balance that out, because you always have a little bit of fear that you have to kind of push through until you realize that that fear isn't even yours, that it's somebody else's, and they're projecting it through your crown chakra down into your vessel, that doesn't belong to you. And then you can just push it out, and then you learn how to just kind of like deflect it. You like kind of like, that's not mine, you get to carry it. Again, think like a soldier, right? Every soldier has their own supply pack, right? When they're walking out in the fields, they're carrying their own weight. So that includes their emotional weight. Now, do the soldiers sometimes have to help each other out? And like I said in other videos, where it'd be like, hey buddy, I know this last 10-mile hike up this hill is in this sand has gotten you, let me carry your pack for a mile. And then when I'm up there, then we're going to swap over and you're going to carry mine for a mile. That's okay. You know, that's different. That's being friends. You kind of come together in life, and you do life together, and you kind of help each other out. Now, you don't become codependent. You don't become like attached to always having that person to carry for you, because, well, they can get hit by a sniper or step on a landmine, and oh great, now who's going to carry my emotional weight? That's kind of how marriage is. You have to be able to control your own emotions, figure out your own triggers, know thyself before you ever introduce yourself into a partnership such as like marriage, okay? You first have to date to get to know yourself better, but dating, to me, the way they do it today is just energetic rape. So that is not my recommendation. If you want to know more about what I consider dating, reach out and we'll have that conversation, because it is not a, hey baby, let's go to dinner, or let's go see a movie, or no, that's not dating. That's energetic rape, and that's ickiness that has been condoned to be socially acceptable, but it's not. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get off here, because I already know that I've spoken too fast for too long. I probably lost a lot of people because of it. I will go ahead and say, please, 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 like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, because I want to get this message out to as many people as I can in order to be able to reach a wider audience, to help activate and encourage and motivate those that are out there doing God's work, that they are not alone and that there is help available. Might just be words of wisdom, but that in itself is priceless. So thank you for listening, and I look forward to talking with you in my next video. Have a great day.